So Iowa just destroyed. They just destroyed Michigan State in what was they destroyed Michigan State, but like the score kind of deceives how the game went. Because at the end of the day, there is very, very much, this was one of the worst basketball games in the history of basketball. And Iowa are, like, I've had a dual screen. I had the LSU versus South Carolina game, the Iowa versus Michigan game. And the fact is that Iowa scored half their points in the fourth quarter. Like, this was an embarrassingly bad game. Like, the Michigan had, going into the fourth, so at the end of first quarter, had 4 points. They had 4 points. They scored 4 points in 3 quarters. I repeat, a top 10 ranked team in the nation, scored 4 points in a quarter. They had single-digit points in 3 of the 4 quarters. Like, it was the most embarrassing display of basketball I have ever seen. And it wasn't exclusive to Michigan. It wasn't exclusive to Michigan because Iowa were absolutely garbage as well. Like, garbage, I don't even think fully describes how bad Iowa were. They were absolutely shocking. Like, Hannah Stuelke until the fourth quarter, I'm not joking about this. They decided not to run pick and rolls. They just decided, you know what, we're going to go back into a time machine. Both teams, in fairness, decided not to run pick and rolls. So they decided, you know what, we're going to go back in the time machine, and instead of running the pick and roll, what we're going to do is you guys are going to consistently go high-low. So we're going to get the ball to whichever of the two bigs in the high post, and then whichever of the bigs we don't get the ball to goes and posts up on the inside, and you are going to pass the ball down. And you might be thinking, surely the defense would like just then step off the person at the elbow if they're making the high-low pass. Oh yeah, they did. And Iowa continued to try force the high-low pass. There was a good 4-minute spell where Hannah Stuelke was being guarded by Olivia Olson standing 8 feet off her at the free throw line, and she threw 3 turnovers. I'm not sure if it was turnovers, but passes that were deflected. She threw 4, I think, passes that were deflected out of bounds or a kickball or something before she took a shot. Before a shot was taken by her, she had 4 deflected passes. It was embarrassing. In the fourth quarter, shout out Chit Chat Wright and Taylor Stramlow. Shout out Chit Chat Wright and Taylor Stramlow, because the two of them, in their defense, hit huge 3-pointers. If they didn't hit those crazy 3-pointers, like, we are looking at a situation where they might not have scored. They genuinely might not have, like, the team just might not have scored. Scoring just might not have been a thing if they didn't score that. But if you're looking again at the scores here, like, oh no, sorry, it was only 2 of the 4 quarters that they had single-digit points. But they had 4 points they had 10 points combined in the first and fourth quarter, Michigan. Iowa scored 7 points in the third quarter. 7. They went in down. Like, Iowa had 32 points. It was 33-32 at the end of the third quarter. Sorry, was it? Am I right in saying that? Sorry, it was 5-36. Whatever way, they're both in the 30s going into the fourth quarter. They're both in the 30s. Maybe it's 35-36 to fucking Michigan. But, like, the fourth quarter, in fairness to Iowa were good. They hit shots, and, like, everything kind of went right. Like, there were literally passes where there was a pass that was thrown so badly to Ava Hayden that it ended up going through her legs and somehow landing directly in Hannah Stuelke's hands for a layup. It was that type of fourth quarter. And Stuelke, in fairness to Stuelke, like, Stuelke stepped up big time at the end of the game. I was so annoyed. And Stuelke is like, I have this, like, with me when it comes to Hannah Stuelke, like, the defense is always there. But, like, as a pro, There are some times I'm just like so frustrated with Stokey. Other times like she's unbelievable. Silas Swords was very poor. Olivia Olsen was very poor. I thought early in the game Olivia Olsen was good. Nobody was scoring well, and it was just kind of, hey, percentages wise, everyone looked bad today. But like I thought in just decision like in terms of like getting them back in the game, like I think Iowa did they go 13-2 up or something to start the game? I think they're 11-0 up. Stokey 5 of 10. Like 4 turnovers and at least 4 others that were deflected out of bounds. Taylor Stremlow to go. Chit chat right. Like Iowa shot 13 3-pointers. They shot 13 threes. That's not enough to win a game. But like Michigan shot 27% from the field. They shot 27% from the field. Like, what did Michigan shoot from the free throw line? Or from the 3-point line? 19%, 4 for 21. Like, it was what I will say. It was a terrible game of basketball. Like, I don't think there's any other real way to describe this. It was emphatically just a terrible game of basketball. Like, that's the best way to describe what happened out there. Was we just watched two teams that were playing back-to-backs, both of which had really bad days. Like, the most favorable way of looking at this game was that both of these teams just had really bad days and they're coming off back-to-backs and it was tough. But like, at the same time, it's one of those things where a win is a win, and being able to win ugly is something that they're going to have to do. And Iowa, like there are times where Iowa are good. There are games where Iowa's, their passing is on point, everything's on point. Like they look like a real basketball team. And then there are times where I'm watching Iowa and I'm like, this is actually the worst basketball I've ever seen. This takes all the fun out of the sport of basketball. Like there are two extremes with Iowa. Either Iowa are looking like it's the beautiful game, that they're playing some of the most beautiful basketball you'll see, or they look genuinely like one of the worst basketball teams ever. But the fact is, like, they are regularly able to grind out wins by grinding teams down to their level. Like, player for player, like, Iowa should not be in the Big Ten final player for player. They shouldn't be. If you look at the teams in Big Ten, you've got, like, Jelani Cambridge there for Ohio State. Like, both Cambridges, in fairness, for Ohio State. You got a lot. I'm just trying to think as well. You've got, obviously, UCLA, who they're playing against. You got USC. Like Jazzy Davidson, like USC are expected to compete for a national title next year. You've got a lot of really good teams. And Jan Jensen's obviously done a really good job with Iowa of getting them to grind out those games, which matters. I get it. Like, it can be frustrating to watch, and I am so frustrated watching this team. Like, I'm not going to even pretend that I enjoy watching Iowa play basketball, because 80% of the time, the answer is no. Do I enjoy watching Iowa play basketball? 80% of the time, the answer is straight up no. But at the end of the day, they're getting wins. They're getting wins, which is the most important thing for them. Because, look, this is a basketball team. And I get it if you want to play exciting, attractive basketball. But if you're doing that while losing, like, it is what it is. Like, then that's not what you kind of want. Like, you don't want to see, like, nobody wants to lose, and no coach is going to be, like, coaches get judged by wins and losses, and you might be saying, oh, they get coached by style of play, but I'm like, at the end of the day, it's better to be a winning team than being the fun league pass team. You can be both, as we saw when Caitlin Clark is there, but they don't have the talent. Yes, the surrounding talent is better. If you put Caitlin Clark and replace Chit Chat, this team would probably be the best team in the nation. That being said, like, their point guard is still Chit Chat, so there's no point talking about that too much, because I thought Chit Chat was fantastic today. I thought she was absolutely fantastic today. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the game. I thought all around it was a decent game. Sorry, no, it was a decent show. Like a decent game. It was an awful game. It was a decent preparation for UCLA because the only way Iowa are going to beat UCLA is by dragging them down to their level. And Iowa could win. Like, Iowa could win the game if they drag UCLA down to their level. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. See you guys.